I'm the Tin Man. Oh! Lord, 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 Lord. Hello. Welcome back. So, I originally sat down this morning to record a video, but I was on one. Just meaning that I was very emotional. I wanted to talk about things, but I couldn't stop getting emotional. And it wasn't even that I was emotional about what I was talking about. I wasn't talking about anything sad. I was just talking about life. But I don't know. I was freaking out. Those of you who do, oh my god, it's just, oh my god. And then while I would be in the middle of my video, I would start worrying about what people would think of me while watching it, and then I would start trying to explain myself and this and that. It was a humongous mess. I ended up having a crying fit. And here I am a couple hours later. I had originally this morning, the reason why I wanted to make a video, I was going to base it off of a book, just because that helps me a lot. And so I picked up a book that I'm not completely done reading, but I'm almost done reading. And I really wanted to show you guys what the book was and that, recommend it and then talk about it. But then when I opened up the book, I couldn't remember anything that the book was about. I didn't remember reading any of it. I didn't remember any of the notes I wrote. So that's kind of what started my breakdown. Just, being reminded that I can't really remember anything. So then I was like, screw it. I'm not going to write. I'm not going to talk about that book. So I wrote down some things why am I having such a hard time? Okay. I wrote down some things that were going through my mind, and I kind of just want to talk about them. This isn't really advice or anything like that. This is just a video where I feel like making. Goodness gracious. So the first thing that I wrote down on my list says, it's okay not to be okay. And I feel like everybody says that and everybody has heard that. But it's really true. It's absolutely okay not to be okay. There's times in my life where I feel like everything has to be perfect, look perfect, be particularly set out, planned out. I need to know what's going on. Or else I feel like I'm completely out of control. And that's something that I've kind of noticed, is that anytime I'm suffering from severe anxiety or just having an anxiety attack, it's because I either don't know what is going on, meaning I just don't have any plans, so I just don't know what's to come. I don't know if this person's going to follow through. I don't know if this person's really going to call me. I'm giving off examples, I don't know if I'm really going to go to the store. I don't know if I'm really going to get my paycheck on time. I don't know this, I don't know that. Everything is so uncertain that, I just freak out. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can kind of compare yourselves to that. But what happens to me, and this kind of goes on to my next point, is that because my life is so chaotic and because my mental state is so unstable and a literal roller coaster, I get caught up pretending that everything is okay to the point that I forget how much I need to work on myself. Or I forget how much is going on in my life that I just push it to the side. I pretend it's not happening. All that kind of stuff. So, along the lines of it's okay not to be okay, the reason why I emphasize that is because I don't want us or anybody, I don't know why I'm like so tense. Like, God. I don't want people to get caught up in pretending so much that they forget who they are. They forget what they're doing. They forget what they set out to do. They forgot that everything wasn't okay, and that it's okay that everything wasn't okay. It was okay that you were a work in progress. And now it's like, yo, I gotta be perfect. Everything I do has to be perfect. We just pretend that it's normal. I'm losing track. Oh my gosh. Seriously, it's because I'm so used to trying to pretend that I'm normal. And when you really try to be yourself, you're like, oh my god. I'm just kidding. And I don't know how to explain this. This video is all over the place. Oh my goodness. I have been in a funk, yo. And yes, I know it's okay to be sad. I know it's okay to not be okay. But one of the things that happens with me is, and I've never really gone through this before, so this is also a video to just let you guys know that if any of you guys are struggling with life, you are not alone. I get into these phases. I don't know if I've ever been in one like this before, but I'm currently here now. And I am so just like, I feel like I have these moments all the time. But I'm just like, I'm sad. I'm regretful. I'm curious. I'm just like stuck. I'm stuck. And it's not that I don't know what I want. It's not that I don't know what I want to do. It's none of that. It's just that it's very different when you're so used to having people around. And then they're not. It is very interesting. And I want to talk about this stuff, but then I don't know how to talk about it. I want to stay strong for myself. I also went and saw a movie, and it one of the characters is a mother, and she told her daughter that it's not her job to worry about her, it's her job to worry about her daughter. And then later on in the movie, the little girl told her little brother the same thing when the little brother was kind of freaking out about something that was going on with the sister. The sister remembered what her mom had told her and told her little brother, like, look, yo, it's not your job to worry about me. It's my job to worry about you and just make sure everything's okay. So when I fall into these funks, I don't want people to worry about me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want people to think that I'm, like, incapable of handling myself, or that I gotta go to therapy, that I gotta go get medication, like, I gotta go seek help. I gotta go find a way to cover up whatever is going wrong with me. Okay, and maybe not cover up, but just, make everything seem okay when it's not. And when in reality, I just need to accept the fact that, yo, it's okay that things aren't okay right now. Let's work on it. You know what I mean? It's not beating ourselves up and killing ourselves for not having motivation or desires or want, or it's just the motivation to do anything. And I'm talking anything. You're going to fall way further down the rabbit hole that you're digging yourself into if you beat yourself up for some of the negative habits that you've fallen into. And I say negative habits that we've fallen into because sometimes I feel like the negative habits that we use, we get confused and think that's how we are, when really we just haven't taken into consideration that I've gotten into the habit of doing something each time I'm sad, or I get into this habit of going into the same mindset, I get into this habit of doing this, and this, and this. When really, it's like, yo, there's nothing wrong with me. I just need to accept the fact that I've fallen into some bad habits. Okay? So, what are some bad habits that some people fall into? because they just don't know how to handle the emotions or situations that they're going through. They turn to medication, to like antidepressants, to addictions based on alcohol and drugs, or just smoking. It's like and I also have a note right here. Sorry this is all over the place. I'm all over the place too, but I have a little note because I was watching a commercial. I was getting something to eat at a restaurant and they had a TV playing. And on the TV, it had this mouthwash / like toothpaste that was being advertised. It was being advertised, and what its selling point was that its creators knew that tons of medications and substances can make your mouth dry. Mostly medications. Like they were set on the fact that one of the side effects that most medications have is dry mouth. So it wasn't a commercial on how it's like help your health and help build your immune system and help cure the side effects that are being caused by an illness that's going on. And instead, this commercial was advertising this mouthwash to help people who were on medication. And like, I get it. This is a touchy subject. Yes, there are some people whose life depends on medicine. But then there are other people who work in the medical field, who know how much of a dependent these medications can become, mostly emotional, mental medications that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about physical disabilities that cause people excruciating pain, cause them to not be able to function correctly. I'm referring to mental issues that doctors numb with medications. It's just becoming so normal that it's scary. Like, I don't watch TV as is. I don't. So to see that the commercials nowadays aren't, they're not inching towards what they even should be. They're more so saying like, hey, we know us over here are overweight and suffering from high blood pressure. Here's a nice recliner to kick your feet back on while that's happening. Or it's like, hey, here's a sucker to eat while your blood sugar, is so high. It's like I was so confused when I saw that commercial. Like, I was just so confused. There's just so much that I want to talk about. And I have this face mask on so I can remember to turn this video off after a certain amount of time talking. I already should, because it's starting to peel off, but sometimes going too extreme with something, there's so many. I just have a little list of things, but it's like each thing needs its own video. You can't just jump from, hey, you were just talking about medications and something you saw on TV. I love how my next point says you can't procrastinate with a brain injury / memory loss. I seriously don't know what's going on. And I used to feel so comfortable coming onto my channel and just talking about things. Anything. I could talk about the fact that I didn't even know if I believed in God or that I thought this place was hell itself. And I don't know why I have this thing holding me back. I literally don't know what the hell it is. There's something holding me back from making videos that I want. There's something holding me back from talking about freaking the books that I want to talk to because I'm worried people will freaking think differently. There's something holding me back from absolutely everything, yo. I just did my first talk through makeup tutorial. There's something holding me back from that. From posting it publicly. You know what I mean? And it sucks so bad. Because when you live in a world where there's a lot of normalness going on, but you are just like a step outside of that. When you show the unnormal aspects of your life, or like you show that, you know, you're hella struggling, or you show that you're sad or depressed, people take it in such weird ways. They either take it as you're playing the victim, which is something that I even have written down that says you can't play the victim. Like you can't. You cannot loathe yourself in the negativity. Yes, it's okay to not be okay, but it's also not okay to focus on only the negative things that are happening in your life. You gotta take care of yourself. But literally, whenever I'm worried about, when I start talking about my sadness, or that I'm sad because I lost my dad, it's just the comments are so different sometimes. Like, you know when you're sad and like you don't want to hear, yo, everything's gonna be okay. Because like you already know everything's gonna be okay. You're not stupid. Like, you know weeks are gonna pass, a year is gonna pass, and you're gonna be in a completely different mentality. But like that doesn't help the current situation. Just like, you know, hey, so-and-so died. Oh, it's like you don't know what to say. The only thing you know how to say is I'm sorry. Like the only thing you know what to say, oh my god, the only thing you can say when you see somebody who's having a really, really hard time is like, yo, it's gonna be okay. But then you take a look at the world we're in, and you're like, damn, when is it really gonna be okay? You know what I mean? I also have written down that accepting reality is harder than it seems, which also goes back to not get caught up pretending that everything is okay, because I feel like we pretend to make reality seem like something it's not. Then we're so caught up in this false reality that we just live that, literally never leave it. And then we're so confused. Sometimes it's best to accept reality. Just move on. Instead of not accepting it, you know. It's hard. But the only advice I got when I had my parents dying was like, yo, stay strong. It's gonna be okay. They're gonna be okay. We're gonna fight through this. They're gonna fight through this. Just think happy thoughts. Be positive. When in reality, I wish I would have prepared myself for everything. I wish I would have gotten my mentality right. I wish I would have realized that things are about to change. My reality is about to change dramatically. Nothing is going to be the same. Nothing is. And nothing's going to get better until I make my emotions stable and I make myself better. Time's not going to make anything better. You are going to make yourself better. And that's something no one has ever said. I went to a funeral. I had my beloved uncle pass away. And when his partner was speaking, it's the first time I ever heard that with time, everything gets harder. You know? And when I heard him say that, I thought to myself, you know what? He's right. And this whole time I have been lying to myself, to others, saying that everything is gonna get better with time. If you are stuck in the same negative mindset, nothing will change with time. Except your physical features, you're gonna get more wrinkles and you're gonna realize that your gray hair is starting to show because you haven't stopped and realized what is happening with reality. Sometimes things get way worse before they get better. And I also have right here, no two events / mourning, not mourning like M-O-R-N, like mourning, but mourning, M-O-U-R, like when you mourn a death. I said that no two events or mourning is ever the same. Ever the same. Sometimes it takes personal experience to understand that. But here I was thinking that, you know, My mom's death was the hardest thing I was ever going to have to go through because she was my best friend, you know? And you accepted that as being reality. I did. I accepted my reality being nothing else can ever happen, nothing bad can ever happen to me because the worst has already come. So then I prepared myself. I literally said to myself, I got onto this happy high horse because I made this false reality in my head that, yo, this is the only shit that's gonna tear me down. If I made it through this, I can make it through anything. I literally told myself that. I convinced myself that I was invincible, all because I watched someone die. I told myself, yo, that's the only thing that's gonna make you sad. That's the worst thing that can happen. What worse isn't what worse can happen? Yo, you watched your mom die. There's nothing else that can even add up to that. I mind-effed myself by convincing myself of that false reality, and now the reality I'm living in is so messed up because I was never prepared for it. Ever. And time keeps on into the future. Literally, yo. Time slips away so freaking fast. Then all of a sudden you'll be sitting here and have the epiphany of how much time has gone by. And that really nothing has gotten better. That's what's happening to me right now. Yo, a year has gone by, and if anything, you were better off mentally a year ago, right after your poor dad died. And I'm over here thinking that, yo, a year or two down the road, I'm gonna be so far down the road that I'm gonna be so surprised when I look back. And now I'm more surprised that I was better off back then than I am now. You know what I mean? Mentally and physically too. But still, you guys, you cannot let your circumstances dictate anything. I know I've made a video about this before, but dead ass, because when you do that, then you'll start playing victim. You start feeling sorry for yourself. You start comparing yourselves to everybody else. When you never used to do that. You never used to do that. I never used to do that, yo. I never used to compare myself to other people. I was the one walking around with a face full of acne, boosting about confidence. Now I'm bone skinny and I'm like, yo. What happened? If you don't pay attention, your life's gonna get the best of you. And I want you guys to use me as a prime example. As a prime example. I want to teach you in multiple ways. You know, I want to help you guys by the things I learn, and I share my knowledge, but I also want you guys to learn from my mistakes, my experiences, and my hardships. You know, I want to be the one to tell you that it's not going to get better with time. You got to make yourself get better. That's probably the worst advice somebody's ever going to give you. But all this good advice, yo, it's really mind-effing. It really is. If somebody would have told me things will get harder the longer it passes, I would have been prepared for that, you know? I would have told myself, yo, Sarah, before it gets better, before all this sweat is off your back, it's going to get 15 feet thicker of mud that you got to crawl through. And then you're going to be having to breathe through a straw for a second because that mud is going to go over your head. But that does not mean that you can give up, okay? It doesn't mean that all of a sudden when we've realized that we've been breathing through a straw, we could start playing victim and be pissed off at everybody else because they're just breathing with their mouths wide open, you know? And we're over here just sucking air through the size of a pea. And then I thought that, you know, it's then it's so different losing a parent than from losing a friend. And it's so different from losing, an uncle as opposed to, losing a parent. And I always thought, you know, all deaths are the same. A death is a death. It sucks. It sucks. Yo, some deaths suck more than the other. And some come way more unexpected. That's what's also so interesting, yo. need to take this face mask off. I don't know, yo. And then another thing that I don't think a lot of people have like taken into consideration, and that it's gonna sound weird coming from me, but it's a reason why I haven't made any, like, you know, playlist videos, what I've been listening to. Music is another way to numb your pain. That's a truth that is hard to accept. Accepting reality is sometimes harder than it seems, you know what I mean? So accepting the fact that, yo, maybe it's not such a good idea to turn on the tunes every time I'm upset. And some people are like, yo, what do you mean? But, yo, sometimes think about it. Like, just for a couple days even, do some research. But just think about it. What is it really doing to us? Consciously and unconsciously. It's just how it's very interesting to hear how quiet and sad this world is without music. 'Cause, yo, even when you're sad and you turn on some sad music, which isn't something that I typically would do, a lot of times people think that, yo, I'm not alone. I can connect with what this artist is saying. This music is really vibing with me. Like, I don't feel so alone right now. And that's how I used to feel too. But then I started asking myself if you take away all other ideas and things that you've already been told, music is like a drug without substance. Meaning, like, you know, all other drugs you have to consume the substance somehow. You can smell it, you can drink it, you can eat it, you can inject it, whatever the hell. But it requires a sort of substance, something to alter your brain. If you think about it, music is literally just a drug that doesn't have the substance. And I think that's why it's very dangerous. This is so out there. Like, it really is. But I don't know. I think it would be a lot more beneficial for us as conscious beings to sit and feel the emotions. I'm not talking about, like I said, playing the victim where you're sitting there feeling your sadness and telling yourself how sad you are, resonating with all the sad things, only wanting to do sad things. That's not what I mean. What I mean is sitting down and understanding where those emotions stem from. You might have to travel as far back as your childhood, Joe, and this can be something that I'll make like a video on all of its own. But don't just sit there and feel your emotions. That's why I think that we're so confused, because even the English language confuses us because they're called feelings. There's something that, you know, we think we just feel. We don't need to understand them. We don't need to dissect them. We don't need to change them. Everybody feels sad. Everybody feels depressed. That's just a feeling. But it's not. There's a reason why we feel that way. There's a reason why our mind goes there. There's a reason why our body is addicted to feeling that way. So if we took the time to sit and, like I said, dissect the emotions that we're feeling and not just run to a cigarette, run to a glass of wine, run to a joint, you know, run to another boy, run to another girl, run to a concert, or run to a set of headphones. What if you just sat there? It would go a lot deeper than just feeling your emotions. Seriously, because sometimes that's deep to sit there and feel how you really feel. Because you've been faking it, you know, like there's some of us, even myself sometimes, where I just, like I said, I pretend I'm so happy and I pretend that everything's okay, that when I really sit down and feel my feelings, that's almost too hard to bear, so I don't want to do it anymore. I don't want to dig in. I don't want to dissect. I don't want to understand. I don't want to care. So I put on some music, I put on some tunes, and then soon I feel better. I feel fine. I'm back in my high of pretending that everything's okay when it's not. So I think that's what I'm going to end this on, is just maybe we should all think about not just feeling ourselves anymore, but understanding why those feelings keep coming up, why we feel like we can't control our own feelings or emotions or impulses or desires. If we sat down and tried to understand ourselves, like, yo, we're out here trying to understand this world we're in. Remember, like, Life of Estelle, that video? We barely understand what the heck we're stuck in. Like, there's multiple levels to this. There's the physical, there's the mental, there's the spiritual. Don't go too extreme down one route, because you'll completely forget about the other one. You get too spiritual, you forget about your physical body. You'll forget about your mental state. You start thinking way too physical. You're way too concerned about your physical appearance. Your spirituality is going to die, and your mentality is going to die too. That wisdom you carry is going to be way more valuable than how much you can bench press or squat. And I think that I'm kind of hinting towards, like, extremes are never good. So don't just focus on one way of life. Don't just focus on eating one thing. You got to focus on every aspect of yourself. We're multi-dimensional beings. We barely figure out, and then even more, we barely figure out the one being that we are. So in this time that we have, let's not just sit here and let time pass us and hope that things are going to get better, we're going to get better, everything's just going to pass the time. Let's take advantage of the time that we have and use it to understand our freaking emotions, to understand our feelings, so we can be in control of ourselves and of our lives. Because, yo, when you start feeling out of control, like you aren't the one who's controlling the roller coaster, it sucks. Like, life is not supposed to be smooth. It's supposed to be a fun roller coaster. And we should feel safe and freaking secure throwing our arms up in the air every once in a while. And feeling life, you know, understanding it, moving with it, not just letting it pass by us, not just being sad from one moment to the next. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm so sick and tired of my sadness following me everywhere I go, yo. It even follows me through my dreams. And that is when it starts sucking. Let's learn, like, you know, together, maybe, like, you know, I hope I'm not alone in this one, but I just feel like if we started, you know, to understand why we feel the way we are, it's not just about, hey, I'm depressed, I need to get on a pill and soothe my depression. I'm depressed, I need to go see a therapist. I'm depressed, I need to find an escape. No. Let's feel that we're depressed and then understand why, and then we won't be anymore. It's all just a misunderstanding of ourselves, of who we really are. That's why I think that's what happens. The mental issues that go inside us, that go on inside of our heads, are due because we do not understand what we're doing, why we're doing it. We've just fallen into a bad habit. So don't think you're crazy. Don't think any of that. Just take into consideration that habits, like, they're habitual actions that you keep doing for some reason, whether it feels good, it feels bad, and you just are addicted to feeling bad. There's so many different, like, ways you could go about it. But it all comes down to learning how to understand the way we feel and why, and know that it's okay, and know that we need to work on it, and know that, you know, we can't just sit here and expect things to happen on its own. I really do hope that, you know, you guys enjoyed this. Just a little me.